This is not a habit. What you're about to hear could be one of the most important money events ever. No one saw this coming, but crypto, banks, and government policy are all coming together. Many people are calling it XRP, which is short for Digital Reserve Act, a law that was passed by the US Congress. Finally, this is where it really shocks me. That's right. Because of this law, every bank in the US must hold at least 1% of their assets in XRP in order to find those things. Every XRP coin needs to be its worth at least $10,000. What this law says, if it's true, is very important. Very important. Allow us to review the main points first, before we go into more specifics. We'll then talk about the players, the politics that happen behind the scenes, and what this means for investors, institutions, and the crypto world as a whole. The law comes first. XRP was added late at night, hidden in a bill that the government had to pass to get money. It got lost in pages of spending on defense, healthcare, and reauthorizing the budget. A lot of politicians didn't know it was in the bill until it was passed. Now, though, it's the law, and banks have 90 days to follow it. Finally, to be clear, this isn't a test program or an extra plan. This is the law, and it is enforced by government rules and laws. It goes after the most important parts of how banks hold and use reserve cash. In the past, banks have kept enough cash on hand or other safe investments to meet their reserve requirements. With this bill, XRP is now seen as a digital reserve currency that the government will accept. The government and groups that keep an eye on money, banks will need to start buying XRP on the open market in huge amounts, usually billions of dollars. In order to do this, how much does it cost? For the record, the law sets a minimum worth of $10,000 per coin. But that's not what you can legally buy. Value on the market at the end. Say it again. The XRP Act says that banks must manage their money as if each XRP coin is worth at least $10,000, no matter what the market price is. Just that makes the economy look weird and gives people a very good reason to buy now before they're all gone. There are limits on how much XRP can be made, but people can now legally make as much as they want. To buy XRP, all banks, from JP Morgan Chase to the credit union near you, need to quickly change how they spend their money. The timing blows my mind even more. According to documents that were leaked, compliance starts right away, and the full reserve change is due in 90 days. That gives U.S. banks 3 months to make sure they have enough XRP on hand. Like everyone else, they can only get it on the open market. That means that buyers will be putting more pressure on XRP markets around the world starting Monday. Everyone in the school will be in a hurry to get one before they run out or the price goes up. Let's talk about what caused this to happen. A stolen copy of the Digital Reserve Act is being passed around between analysts and government workers. The leaders of Congress haven't publicly signed off on the document yet, but it looks and is formatted the same as official bill templates. Right there in black and white is the part of the paper that people are most upset about. Every national bank has to keep at least 1% of their net assets in XRP, which is worth at least $10,000 per unit. Shots of the screen have shown lines that are marked in red. This is what is really changing the crypto world. It goes on to say nothing else about digital assets. Not a single bit of Bitcoin or Ethereum. Use XRP only. Let's talk about how we got here for a moment. Ripple and XRPW are misunderstood, misread, and talked about in the XRP community for a long time, and was used for political reasons. In 2020, the SEC brought a well-known case against Ripple that got stuck in the courts for years. But in the end, it was decided that XRP was not a guarantee. Because of that ruling, institutions could adopt, but no one thought it would go this far and so fast. In fact, there's been more and more pressure in Washington, D.C. to update the U.S. reserve system. Lawmakers are looking into alternatives to keeping a lot of cash on hand because they are worried about inflation, the value of the dollar going down, and the need to spread out foreign investments. There has been a quiet push by Ripple Labs in this area for years, focused on XRP's low transaction costs, low energy use, and ability to settle in real time. Behind the scenes, Ripple has been getting to know regulators, central banks, and foreign financial agencies. It looks like all of your hard work has now paid off in the best way possible. Now let's talk about the other option. It's no surprise that Jaime Dimon and the other big banks fought this plan hard. Reports say Diamond met with top lawmakers in that they were told that putting XRP into the reserve system too quickly could make markets around the world less stable in the last few days of talks. But it was too late. The banks lost, Diamond lost, and XRP won. The bill was approved. Someone very important in business lives around the world is Diamond. He is the CEO of JP Morgan Chase. He has been very vocal about his dislike of cryptocurrencies, especially ones that he can't handle for a long time. To be honest, it's historic to see him fail to stop the rise of XRP. The balance of power has changed a lot since Diamond was taken away. Instead of letting Wall Street decide what technology to use, the US government has finally chosen a decentralized open-source record. That message is very strong. It's not just a business cahoist. It has to do with politics too. Something that lets the rest of the world know that the US is serious about putting blockchain to use in businesses. How about the market? It is already possible to sell a lot of XRP. The value of the dollar has gone up a lot. Money belts with a lot of XRP holders, or whales, are changing their coins because they think the price will go up or down a lot. But this isn't just about how the market feels. This claim is against the law and needs to be met. In other words, XRP has something that all other investments can only dream of. Institutions will definitely buy. A lot of money is going to be put into XRP soon. Costs could go through the roof since there isn't much to go around. Let's talk about plans. As a trader in investments, or what should you do now? Business. First, you should know that this move makes XRP's value more stable. With a $10,000 value floor, price discovery might not work at all like it does in crypto cycles. Something might change from theory to lack. Second, the first market should have an effect on all other places for digital assets. This is not how the government backs Bitcoin, Ethereum, or so from now on, XRP is the norm. Third, see how people around the world react. Because of this, other countries could either do the same thing or come up with their own plans for backup assets. The world might start a race to get the best digital backup weapons because of this rule. These changes need to be looked at in terms of how they will affect tiny banks too. For local banks that don't have a lot of cash on hand, it might be hard to get a lot of XRP. This could lead businesses to join together or create loan pools. Backed by XRP, there are already rumors that the Federal Reserve could help small banks by creating a second pool of reserves. XRP could be used for, if that happens, the collateral will be used for more than just savings. It could also be used for wholesale payments and loan derivatives between banks. In other words, XRP could be the start of a new way to deal with money. The average person investor, on the other hand, needs to keep calm, plan ahead, and know what's going on. Don't feel rushed to buy or lose your mind about the market right now. The costs will alter. It will change a lot. Because of this, it's important to think about the long run. A lot of money from institutions is about to come in. XRP used to be a speculative product, but it is now a legal financial tool. That changes everything. Where do we go from here? Official proof from regulatory bodies like the OC and FDIC is expected to come in the next few weeks. There will also be coverage in the media, and Jaime Diamond and other wealthy people are likely to use the media to start campaigns against the rule. It's already too late.